Let me just preempt by saying I usually do my speech in an hour, hour and a half, okay? So I hope you guys had your coffee, you're ready to rock. We're gonna do this together, and together we're gonna get through the whole story. Deal? Yep. Okay, cool, good energy, I like it. All right guys, so I wasn't always an elite athlete. As a young boy, my parents being Arab, prioritized education over sport. I worked really, really hard, and when the time came, I had three options. I could be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, right? All the Arab men are like, yep, those are the three options. Well, there's failure also, right? And so I chose doctor. So you can imagine my parents and their surprise when after graduated from the Johns Hopkins University with honors, a triple major, and a pre-med concentration, I came to say to them, guys, I need a break. I want to find myself, right? They were very understanding though, as far as Arab parents come, and they said, go do your thing. And I'm very grateful because this is when I found my passion, entrepreneurship. Yes, I want to own businesses. This is what I want to do. And I learned a very important lesson, and the lesson of failure, and how important failure is, and how it's part of the process. And it's not success or failure, but it's rather failure, get up, do it again, failure, get up, do it again, until you get to success. So my 20s, my brother and I spent our time starting company after company, and the majority of them actually failed. But eventually, we ended up with Thought Solutions. And we were super excited about this. We took massive risks. We took a loan against our only thing that we owned, our apartment, and put all the money into this company. So talking about brave or stupid, I don't know how you see it, right? But this was everything. It was a voice over IP company and an inbound, outbound call center. As CEO of the company, I was the chief marketing guy. I was the guy who was selling it. And we were able to secure a couple of big deals. One was with the US State Department, and the other was with the UK government. And we were doing visa processing for them. So this was absolutely huge for us, right? The problem is, and you guys can definitely relate to this, I started to get heavier and heavier. Unhealthy, caffeine, no sleep, eating bad food, no time for the gym. Next thing you know, I'm 105 kilos of pure fat, and I'm wearing my suit, and as I'm getting into my car, I hear, what is this? Suit rips at the bottom. It doesn't happen once. Oh no, it happens twice, right? The second time, I'm like, brother, that's my little brother, I gotta do something. And we thought we were sitting on Google, right? We were a small startup company of 5 people, now we're 20 people, this is huge. Go find something to do, right? And that's when I discovered triathlon. With a chance encounter, I met with the mayor of Washington, D.C., who happened to be an avid triathlete, and that's where I lived. He pulled me into this group of like-minded individuals, type A go-getters, right? And he dubbed us AOAT, all out, all the time. All out in business, all out in life, all out in sports. And this is actually the beginning of my transformation from fat to fit, right? Yeah, so yeah, that's me, and feel free to laugh, that's fine, right? So a lot of people say that I don't have a dial, but I have a switch, okay? It's either on or it's off. And it was mega on at this point. All I could focus on is just fitness, 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 fitness. Eventually, I was working out all the time, not working enough, and my brother's like, hey, Habibi, we started this company together, now you're playing. I'm like, hey, business development, I'm cycling with the mayor. And he's like, okay, 6 months, you close the deal. I don't close the deal, right? So he sits me down and was like, okay, what are we gonna do? He's gonna take over the company. I'm gonna turn professional triathlete at age 31. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that, okay? Let's do that. And I was like, he's like, but make a living out of this. So it's gotta be commercially viable, right? Like, so figure it out. Oh, and by the way, I want you to go to the top. I'm like, what's the top? He said, Olympic Games. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it, right? And one of my favorite quotes is, no one told them they couldn't do it, so they went ahead and did it. Ignorance is bliss, right? And so I did, at age 31, the only thing I know how to do. I dove in head first, right? I dove in head first into this new life. I learned about being a professional athlete. And it's something that's actually very difficult to do, the jump from amateur to professional, especially at this age. And I believe, guys, when you commit to something, you go out there and you announce it. You don't play it safe. You don't wait until the goal is reachable and then you say, hey, we're doing this amazing thing. No, you go out and you say it. Business, sports, or whatever. So I came out and I said, I'm going to the Olympic Games, right? And you know what happens? Naysayers come out. naysayers out of anywhere. So if any of you have an amazing brave campaign or whatever it is, right? Somebody doesn't feel like they can do it, so they tell you, you can't do it. It's not possible. I've always said, never, ever listen to the naysayers. Believe in your vision, focus, and just keep on pushing. One of the things that people don't realize is the financial pressures of being a professional athlete in a non-massive sport like football, basketball, whatever. You gotta figure it out. And the majority of the people in my sport, at the top of the sport, barely make a living, right? So what I had to do is I had to come up with my own brand. On stands for impossible is nothing. Push the limits, right? And I had to apply my business knowledge to be able to market myself, create a brand, and make a living out of sports, right? And so one of the, hold on one second, guys. Yep. Yes. So one of the things is this, guys. I used my business skills in order to be able to professionally do triathlon. But one of the things that we ended up doing is we did a partnership, okay? I realized that all of a sudden, all the logos of all the athletes, of all the brands that I was wearing and that I was competing with, they weren't represented in the Middle East. So people would be like, this is amazing. Where can I buy this? Where can I buy that? And nowhere, you can't. So we identified, you know what? This could be the exit strategy. This could be the next thing. So we created a distribution company and we distribute 8 different products across the Middle East. On is one of these brands that we distribute. It's a premium running shoe from Switzerland, right? And we did some brave marketing campaigns. We pushed the labels, and I'm happy to report that, 2 short years later, we're swinging with the big boys like Nike, Under Armour, and Reebok, and whatnot. To keep on building onto this, onto the triathlon career, right? My brother and I started a company called Ventum. Ventum is a manufacturer of the fastest triathlon bike in the world. And again, we shook it up. It was radical design, never seen before. The cycling community is like, what's happening? And we just secured the first ever global bike partnership with Ironman, which is huge, put us on the map, right? Yeah, so excited. Oh, thank you. All right, so business taught me all these things to apply to sports, but sports also taught me a lot of things about me and about business in general, right? One of the things is being comfortable being uncomfortable. Being comfortable being uncomfortable day in, day out. In triathlon, there isn't a single day that you're not training 3 to 8 hours a day. You're exhausted. You're constantly pushing the label, and nobody wants to suffer, right? And it taught me that success is going from failure to failure with good attitude. Triathlon rewards the people that stay in the moment. It rewards people that don't dwell on the past or worry about the future. They're in the moment. It taught me to stay focused on the things that I can control and not worry about the things that I can't control. So the thing really goes in 2 directions. So everything is looking fantastic. We're gonna go to Rio. This is beautiful, right? Yes. Until 18 months out, I break my ankle. 6 months out, I get 2 herniated discs in my back. While they're treating the herniated discs, they diagnose me, a professional triathlete with 4% body fat, healthy eating habits, 3 to 8 hours of training a day, with diabetes. So now I'm 36 years old. I gotta figure this whole situation out. I don't give up. I keep on pushing. Let's do this. We can still do this. March 2016. It's clear we can't. My back is what's preventing me from competing, and I lose my spot to the Rio Olympics. What now? Right? My buddy Omar Nour, a renowned Arab adventurer, comes to me and says, hey, Habibi, can I come and see you in Dubai? I said, come. He's like, I want to talk to you about a project. And this is what he had to say.
My name is Omar Nour. I'm a mountain and polar adventurer.
My name is Omar Nour. I'm a professional triathlete.
gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
All right, so I think the first question is, you have diabetes, you have two herniated discs in your back, two men on a boat that's 7 meters by 1.5 meters crossing the Atlantic unsupported. Why, right? That's usually the first question, why? And it's a very interesting answer. As a professional triathlete that turned pro so late, I was the people's triathlete. Everybody could relate to me. They're like, if he can do it, I can do it. But the next thing you know is as you get more and more comfortable in that new life of yours, people expect you to do triathlons. They expect you to do these things. That's your job. And I start to get comfortable. So we took this opportunity as an opportunity to prove to ourselves, but also to our followers, that you gotta keep on pushing. You gotta stretch. You gotta do something amazing, something that scares you. If your dreams do not scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. And this scared us. There is no reason why we should be doing this. Never rowed, don't know anything about the ocean, don't know anything about boats, don't know anything about navigation. It sounds ridiculous, right? And people talk about the definition of brave, right? To endure in the face of danger and pain, right? There was plenty of danger and pain waiting for us. So what we did is we did the brave thing and we signed up. Within 2 hours of him meeting me and getting the information from the race organizers, we signed up. The race organizers are like, this is crazy. That's the world record. Nobody signed up this quick. Are you guys sure? We're like 100%. But that's not enough. Signing up is not enough. Making a decision in business to do something brave is not enough. You gotta be meticulous. So we started to apply the things that I learned in business and in triathlon to this. We started to train our bodies. We had to change our bodies. We had to learn. We had to get certifications for life safety at sea, ocean, rowing, gazillion different things. We had to educate ourselves and get to ourselves to a point where we could do this thing safely. You can imagine when I went to my doctors, my back doctor and my diabetes doctor, and I said, hey guys, I'm gonna roll across the Atlantic. They're like, that's not possible for you. I said, docs, you seem to misunderstand. The decision has been made. It is now up to you to figure out how I'm going to do it safely, right? And guess what? They got on board, right? They eventually got on board. So what we ended up doing is we wanted to associate this with something worthwhile. So we partnered up with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, and we used this adventure, crossing a dangerous body of water, to put light on a very relevant issue of our day, the plight of refugees. And we also had DHL on board who helped us promote the event and sort of take it to the next level, right? So how do we train? Nothing will compare to the real thing. It doesn't matter how much you prepare, it will never happen, you will not be ready. But what we did is I did 48 hours of rowing on this machine, in the gym. We drew a little boat and we were like, okay, we're gonna stay in that box, right? And that prepared me both mentally and physically for what was about to come. Come December 2017, we are in La Gomera and I'm ready. The transformation is done. From 4% elite fitness athlete to a pretty hefty ocean rower, right? We felt pretty good that we were ready to rock and roll, right? Our families came and my significant other was there, and they helped us prepare the boat. Guys, everything, the world record is 40 days and 5 hours. Everything that you're gonna take with you on this boat is what you need to survive for that entire time. You forget a toothbrush? Not a big deal, right? It's a big deal on day 30 when your mouth is all cutting, right? So you gotta think about every single thing. And finally, this emotion started to get high, and this is one of my favorite pictures, is when I'm hugging Fleur right before I left. And this is when the magnitude of the event really sunk in. We are going to row an ocean, unsupported. 2 hours on, 2 hours off. This is going to be miserable, right? We were leaving though, and this doesn't look like the face of misery. We were happy. We were like, no idea what's about to happen to us, right? Absolutely not. The first 8 days were complete misery. Omar, my partner, both Omars, O2, right? So Omar, seasick. 24 to 48 hours, completely seasick. Yeah, cannot move. It was disaster. So I had to now row for 2 people. So my longest session was 7 hours on the oars. And that really, really crushes you, right? And a lot of different things start to happen, bad things, you know. Tides were moving us towards Morocco. I love Morocco, but at this point we're trying to go the other direction, right? We're going to Antigua. And the sores on our bums were the size of Grand Canyon. It was the worst thing ever because imagine it's salt water grinding against the seat over and over and over. 2 hours on, 2 hours off, constantly wet, constantly uncomfortable, hurting. Our bodies were fighting us every single step of the way on the way down. And what I call it, a new normal. Your new normal. It doesn't want to go there, right? And this is actually a little bit of a treat. This is an actual phone call to Fleur on the 6th day of the expedition from the boat. So I'm about probably 500 kilometers offshore.
Yeah, and waking up in the middle of the night and putting on wet clothes in a wet cabin to go outside in the boat. And that first 10 minutes before you warm up can be a bit brutal. But I found my routine. I basically, today for the first time, I started to talk to myself on day 6. And sometimes it's in the voice of my mom, and sometimes it's in the voice of my girlfriend, sometimes it's in the voice of my brother, and it just walks me to what I need to do. So, and I also talk to the boat, Jan, and I ask her what kind of session she's going to give me today, and I talk to the ocean. I know it sounds really kooky, and when people used to say that, and I used to listen to that, I used to be like, this is completely insane, like, I would never do that. But it helps a lot. Even in the cabin, when you are unable to move around and you're tired and whatnot, if you just talk to yourself and talk to what you're about to do. So I reckon I'm probably going to use this back home. That's basically it.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, and I do use this back home. I talk to myself quite a bit right now. But one of the things is this, is on the 7th and 8th day, we had battery issues. And this was a huge problem because we couldn't create water that we could drink, so we had to ration our water. So we're at 3 liters of water between the two of us for the whole day rowing. And it was an uncomfortable night. That 8th night was really, really miserable. Waking up on the 9th morning before the sunrise session, I was getting ready in the cabin, and I felt the boat rise and rise and rise. And it was a big wave. Guys, we were in waves that were between 7 to 10 meters. So these are massive waves compared to our boat. And the next thing you know, I felt this massive whap, and I got propelled to the front of the boat. And I thought it was over, and I was like, wow, this was insane. What had happened is the boat was actually airborne. We didn't know that. And by the time it hit the water, it was as if you drove your car into a wall. Smashed me into the back. Next thing you know, everything in the boat is beeping, and I can feel the boat shift. And I am shuffling on the side of the boat. I am shuffling on the ceiling. The next thing you know, the boat is upside down. Everything is beeping. 2 thoughts. First, no, not like this. I don't want to die like this, and I don't want the race to end like this. Second, what have you just done to your family? For a thrill? This is the last time I thought about these 2 things. These 2 things I put away, and I had to focus on the task at hand. I shifted my attention to Omar. Is he alive? Is he dead? He's out there rowing. He's tethered to the boat, but maybe he's dead. I go up to the window that is now upside down. Everything is beeping, chaos, 80 kilometer an hour wind, 10-meter waves, and I see he's alive, and he's there, and he's moving. So we're trying to help the boat right. So he's trying to push it, and I'm trying to do. And as we're doing this, I hear water rushing. Guys, water should never go into this cabin because that is the only way, if you have a vacuum, that the boat comes back up. If water goes in there, it's catastrophic. It's game over. So I see that it's coming from the vent, and I'm yelling, Omar, the vent, get the vent. And he can't hear it. Oars are hitting. There's ropes everywhere. There's beeping. By the time he gets there and realizes what he needs to do, boom, the vent goes out in his hand. Now water is rushing onto my chest, and I have to get dressed to survive. This is when you realize you need to survive. I put everything that I can on. I grab every single thing that I think is going to be useful. You have no idea. I'm looking for my harness. My harness is a key piece of equipment. Why? Because it has a PLB. It's a personal locator beacon that I can send a mayday signal. And it attaches me to this boat so that when these crazy waves happen, I don't get separated. It doesn't matter if you're a professional triathlete. In this weather, You are nothing. Can't find it. The water gets up to my chest. It's time for me to get out. I open, I dive in, I come out to more worse news. What's going on? My partner is cramping and completely frozen. Can't move. The life raft that's supposed to be pulled and poof, explosively opens so that you couldn't go in there to survive. When I pull it, 10% and stops. It's barely floating. I have no communication. I'm in 18 degrees Celsius water. I'm in great white shark hunting territory. The EPIRBs, all the emergency beacons didn't deploy. This is pretty much game over. And this, over here, guys, this is the same as business. Sometimes you have a problem that's so big, you don't see a solution. You do not see a solution. You know, maybe Lucy with the whole Trump thing, she doesn't see a solution. This is crazy, right? Some people freeze, right? Other people think that status quo is going to save them. In this situation, both of those meant death. We had to figure it out. So I had a mantra that I kept on repeating over and over out loud. I would say, figure out a way to make it a little bit better. Figure out a way to make it a little bit better. And once we get there, how do we make it a little bit better? And kept on going until a solution presents itself, right? And this is something that actually saved our lives. I spent 3 hours diving under the boat in this weather, untethered, trying to find something to survive. Found 3 pieces of equipment that really helped us. 1, a life jacket. 2, the EPIRB. 3, a pump, right? The EPIRB I deploy, the life jacket we wear, the pump, I'm on my back, and I'm pumping this thing to try to get some air into it. It gets to a point where we can finally get inside. And we're inside, we're like, okay, this is good, this is good. Now the 7 hours agonizing wait starts. You're waiting, you have no idea. Did the EPIRB go? Is somebody coming? Do they know we're here? What's gonna happen, right? After 7 hours, the nicest sound I've ever heard in my life. The sound of a plane. And this is a treat because nobody's actually seen this. This is a picture that was taken from the Spanish Coast Guards when they found us. And you can see Jan is flipped upside down and the life raft is deployed over there. And guys, so what happened is the EPIRB actually fired longitude and they didn't fire latitude. So they had to like go and canvas this thing. So we're like, this is it, we're saved. We hug, we're like, this is done. Plane goes away. Frantically panicking, what's going on? Open up to take a look at the plane. I don't see a plane, but what do I see? I see the most beautiful ship in the world, the Kefalonia, 200 meters long, 50 meters high, okay? Transporting steel from Brazil to Spain. We're ready to rock, we're saved. This is good. Little did we know the most treacherous part of our day was about to begin. How does a 200-meter ship catch a 2x2 meter raft in gale storm winds? We're waiting for the live vessels to come down. We didn't know. This was the only ship within 300 nautical mile. It was privately chartered, and the captain got the Mayday signal 6 hours earlier, got permission to reroute and move towards us. They've been coming to us for 6 hours. When they deployed their live vessel, the waves flipped them, and they almost lost 6 of their crew. So now the captain, this is uncharted territory for everybody involved. So now the captain is like, that's it. Ropes. Ropes? Have you guys tried to throw ropes in 80-kilometer-hour wind? You go like this, and it doesn't even hit the water, it comes back. So we're looking up and we're like, what the heck is going on here? What's the plan, right? Every time they miss us, 30 minutes to turn back around. Every time they miss us, 30 minutes. Eventually, it got dark and Omar was like, this is not going to happen. We're never going to make it onto the ship alive the way they're going. I'm going to tell them no thank you. And I was like, okay, I mean, look, listen, this is a mess. Let's clean this place up and let's tell them no. And the boat comes around, he opens up and he says, thank you very much, no. And they're like, what do you mean no? They're like, send another ship. There is no other ship. They're like, we'll try again in the morning. By the way, guys, are you guys Egyptian? Because we heard some Arabic. They're like, yeah, we're Egyptian. Are you Egyptian? We're like, yeah, we're Egyptian. They're like, what the hell are you doing here? We're like, guys, not now. Look, guys, mind you, I love Egyptians and I love my people, but Arabic is the last language I want to hear here now. I want to hear German, Achtung, system, pum pum on the boat, right? Yalla, yalla, habibi. This is not what I want, right? So what ends up happening is we close and we go to sleep. So we go to sleep. And now I wake up to a thump. What is this thump? We are not next to the boat. I open, we are under the boat. There's a wall of steel above us, and it's sheer panic. The first officer sticks his head out, throws her open, goes, tie it. I'm like, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. I tie it. He starts to pull us towards a rope ladder. And as he's pulling us, the actual raft collapses and starts to grab water, and we're sinking. So now adrenaline is pumping. And we need to wait until the wave is high enough to catch the rope ladder. Omar sees the ladder, doesn't wait, and jumps. Like a movie, hangs on the second to last ladder. The next thing you know, his body's banging against the hull as the boat is shifting, and I see him one-handed. And he's unattached, and I disappear like a movie around the boat, and I cannot see him. My attention shifts to me. My survival. Am I gonna get minced by the propellers? And as I'm thinking this, the rubber against the steel, the boat starts to push me under the water. And now I can feel my lower body in the life raft under the water. They heard my voice. They definitely heard my voice there. They took a buoy, they threw a buoy out, tied to a rope. I grabbed it, I made sure that nothing was connecting me to the life raft, and I dove into the Atlantic Ocean in the middle of the night. And I have to admit that at that point, as I'm floating in a cargo ship all lit up, 200 meter, I start to think about the decision-making processes in my life that have led me to be floating in the middle of the Atlantic, 1,000 kilometers from shore, next to a cargo ship, right? They start to pull me. And then when I get to the side of the boat, I'm like, how am I gonna make it up? And all I hear is 1, 2, hop, 1, 2, hop. And I'm yelling, yes, guys, keep it up, keep it up. And I'm rappelling up the side of the boat. I slip, I'm falling, I'm walking. It is a mess, it is chaos. I get to the top, they throw me on board. And Omar Samra is there, alive. One of the best feelings in my life. And I love this picture because this picture was also never seen before. We took it seconds after we actually made it. Seconds after we made it. And this is pure elation and happiness. The crew, the captain, first officer, second officer, first engineer, all Egyptian. The bond, unbelievable, right? How do you do that in the middle of the ocean, 1,000 kilometers in? The bond between us and these guys was unreal. We loved it. And guess what ended up happening? The race doctors say, hey, I'm glad you're alive, but you have diabetes and there's no insulin on this ship. We gotta evacuate you. We're like, no, we're done. We're done with the whole adrenaline part of this thing. We're alive. We're not doing anything anymore. Fell on deaf ears. 24 hours later, they asked the Kefalonia to reroute towards shore, and a helicopter came out. Now, there's 3 helipads on this boat. We're waiting for it to land. And the pilot says to the captain, sorry, can't land, too much wind. Report on deck. Report on deck. Next thing you know, poof, the helicopter is hovering right over the boat. They throw a line. The closest thing to a real-life superhero comes flying down onto the boat. So now I'm watching a movie, and it's me. I'm the subject, right? And he's moving us around, and he's like, basket, basket, basket. Never have Omar and I been so demasculated in our entire life. He put us in a basket like 2 little kittens, okay? Like 2 little kittens. Look at us freaking like hanging on to each other. I found this picture while preparing for this. This has actually never been seen before. And lifted us off. As we were lifting off and floating over the Atlantic, we looked back and we're waving at this ship, and people are crying. On the ship, the bond, people are crying. And we couldn't believe ourselves. And it would be very easy to look at this in a binary way. Failure, we didn't complete our task to cross the Atlantic. Success, we're alive. But we wanted to do more. So what we ended up doing is we partnered up with Marco Orsini, a world-renowned director, to create a film about the story and to create a film to shed light on the plight of refugees. The film was actually featured in Cannes Film Festival this year as a work in progress. And I'm happy to report that now we are finalizing the feature-length documentary version of it, and we're talking to all the premier film festivals of the world to try to go there. And I have a little bit of a, well, before that, the next challenge and the hardest thing is navigating show business, right? The most treacherous waters ever. Steep learning curve, we don't know what the heck we're doing, and we're sort of going with this. This is a bit of a treat. This is this has never been seen before, and this is why I didn't want you guys to video, because there's a lot of things. This is a trailer from our movie.
I would compare this race to other extreme sports. There isn't anything else that's like this.
Two guys who really have no idea what rowing is about, going across the Atlantic together.
People who are forced to flee their homes.
Has the right to cross an international border, regardless of the means.
We row from the Canary Islands to Antigua in the Caribbean.
I didn't romanticize it too much. You must go through it in order to truly understand.
Omar is rocking it over here.
And then all of a sudden, I'm underwater, and that's just everything changed. I looked at my hand and I could see that my hand was just shaking and just full of blood.
We must save these people.
The life raft starts to collapse.
The seas are relentless and the open water is relentless. It doesn't forgive.
Mom, I'm going to cross the Atlantic.
All right, guys, so I'm just gonna leave you with this thought. This is my tagline, live with passion. I believe that you should do everything in your life with passion, whether it's your personal life, your business life. And passion gives you a lot of things. It gives you courage, gives you bravery. And the other thing is it puts you in a position where good things happen to you. So live with passion. Thank you, guys.